Now that the election has passed, on Your Voice South Texas, we're focusing on the why people voted the way that they did and what they want to see change. And so this episode is going to bring us 4 hours south of San Antonio to Starr County. This area was a Democratic stronghold for more than 100 years until this past election, where 56% of people voted for President-elect Donald Trump and 40% of the people voted Democrat. Now, this is something that hadn't been seen because this county was true blue. It went for Joe Biden back in 2020, and now it is for President-elect Donald Trump. So we're here to talk to the people here, understand more about where they're coming from, why they voted the way that they did, and we're very excited to have these conversations.
Before we start, we just want to give a special thank you to the employees and the owner of Thanks a Latte, a new coffee shop that opened up just a few months ago in La Grulla. They were gracious enough to host us for this conversation.
I was born in Central Mexico. I immigrated to the United States when I was 10. I've been here ever since in Starr County.
I'm a product of the 80s. I graduated in the 1980s, in 1984. And we had a lot of ranches here. We were a community of ranches. That's where most of the jobs were. And go forward 30, 40 years, all that had disappeared now.
So I'm glad that you're both here and you both have opposing political views. Are you a Republican or are you an independent?
I'm a Republican, yes.
And have you always voted that way?
No.
When did that change?
Well, in Starr County, we don't really have had a Republican Party active locally. So when I started voting in 1986, we had to vote locally Democrat in the primaries because we had no one running in the Republican Party. So I voted Democrat most of my life in the primaries.
But you always considered yourself to be a Republican?
Yes.
Okay. And how about you?
No, I'm a Democrat.
Yeah, just a Democrat. And you always have voted?
I have always voted predominantly Democrat, but I have voted, including this last election, I voted Republican in certain selected races.
Okay. Now, the reason that we're here is also because Starr County has gotten so much attention because when you look at the map, there are 14 counties in Texas that are along the Mexico border, and 12 of them went red and voted for Donald Trump. They might have voted Democrat in other elections, but as far as the presidential election, they went red, and that surprised a lot of people. And did it surprise you, Starr County, that a place that had not voted for a Republican president since 1896 flipped?
I think I saw the movement back in 2016 when Hillary ran against Trump. Trump became I would say he's a phenomenon. It's like he's a celebrity. And then in 2020, he got 48% of the votes here versus 52. So there was already a trend there. And I work in some of the elections, and I ask people kind of like my own little survey or poll on the Donald Trump movement. So I kind of figured that, and I predicted that
you saw the tides turning.
Yes, I actually saw the tides that we were actually folks were gonna vote for Donald Trump this time around. And because he was very popular, and I believe that the message from the Democrat candidate wasn't really clear, and it was the last minute. Vice President Kamala had only about 8 weeks to campaign, so maybe it was not fair for her.
What do you think? Were you surprised by the outcome?
Yeah, I just gonna put it a little bit differently. It was not because he's very popular. He was more like a flu, that overtook everybody. A lot of these people here that voted for him. But yes, I was surprised. I was not expecting him to win. But it did happen. It is what it is. We go forward.
Yeah, I think one of the other surprises too is with the Latinos. I mean, this is one of the most Latino counties in the country. Something like 96% of people here are of Latin heritage, and they went, and now you saw the true shift for Donald Trump. Do you think that this is because of immigration, border security. Is that it, or is there more to this?
Well, if it is immigration that lure these people to run, to vote for Mr. Trump, they're going to be affected in some fashion because as Hispanics here in this area, many of them, they're probably have been here less than 10 years or so. You know, they still have maybe part of their family that's not legal here and a lot of family in Mexico. And if this massive immigration deportation comes to be, a lot of these families are going to be affected, unfortunately. Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it's about immigration?
There's three things that, my own polling, and it kind of, our county judge mentioned the same thing. First of all is that when you say Latinos, we say Tejanos, we say Hispanics. Latinos is not a term that we use here, that's more of a media thing. Because Hispanics from California are not the same from Tejanos or from Miami, Florida. Having said that, there's three things that Rio Grande Valley folks had in mind, and most people in the country had, was the economy. I've seen it personally. People have a hard time going to a grocery store. So the inflation, economic status was a big deal. The second one was we do have a population here in the county that goes out and work in Midland, Odessa, the Permian Basin. There's a lot of oil and gas there, so we have a lot of folks that go and work there, people under 40, young kids, young boys. And then the other one was, of course, the immigration issue. We do see it. It's our daily lives. We see police chasing illegals or the Border Patrol chasing illegals. It's a daily thing of we take it for granted. We have the helicopters flying over us. It's like, when is it gonna end? Mind you that most of the folks that come here illegally, they move up north. We don't have them here. We don't have that problem. The problem is the cartels who are controlling the border. There's three of them: the Cartel del Norte, the Zetas, and the Cartel del Golfo. They control our border here.
What do you mean by control the border?
Control, it means that they push the illegals to our side. They do have their little tag. So, and they control the drug trafficking coming across and the human trafficking. We see a lot of the young kids and all the families coming over. That's what I mean. That's the big picture here, those three items. I never said abortion. They didn't say anything about the women, trans, bathrooms, all that. People here, they want to work. They don't want to give away. They want jobs. They want to be able to feed their family. And right now, like I mentioned, the economy is everything's very expensive. Is it going to go down? Is the dollar of the value going to go up? Our salary is going to go up? We don't know that. People are very, very scared.
And why did why did Trump have the answer? And I'm asking again because he's the only. Because again, when it came to local elections, some of those were still Democrat, but the presidential election is the one where people went red.
I think our population is very, very well informed. Either they get their news source from Mexico in Spanish or they get it from locally here. The message was very clear. Border security, the economy, oil and gas. The Democrats were mainly about abortion and transgender rights and men playing women's sports. That's nothing that was not what people wanted. So I think that resonated with some of the local voters, and they ended up voting for Trump at the national level. Locally, they voted Democrat. So that's the balance right there.
I know a lot of my friends, some of my friends, that I know they're just as blue as you can find them, but yet some of their kids are leaning the other way, and they don't understand why, But, thinking on something that you said, it was a lot about the economy. Well, again, I'm not sure that these massive deportations are going to help the economy very much. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to be the other way, because we depend on that labor to do the job at the picking up our fruits and vegetables, working in our meat markets, the meat farms, working in the construction area. I remember going to Corpus and details when I was in the Border Patrol, and we'd go to a large construction area. The job was finished for that day because as soon as we got there, everybody fled. We were able to catch a few, right? But then the job came to a standstill because they were not going to come back. So, deporting all of these people, I think is going to have its adverse effects on the economy itself, which that was.
So you're saying that it's intertwined, but in a different way. One of the reasons why I'm also here is to understand a lot of people they think the border and they think it stops right there, but there's so much more to it. You have the economy involved in that. You also have crime. I also think about, I've been to Del Rio and Eagle Pass, and there are people there who have, ranches along the border, and you would know this as a former Border Patrol agent, who they say, I'm not against, I feel for these people, but it is a safety concern if you have a lot of them coming over. My property is right here. I don't feel comfortable having my kids play in the backyard. I'm afraid of who's coming through. It's a security issue for them. But again, for some people, it's that. For some people, it is, you should follow the law. People shouldn't be crossing over undocumented without papers. And for other people, it's an economy thing. You know what? We need to protect our jobs, and we don't want immigrants coming over and taking lower wages, and that potentially depressing the wages for everybody else.
I see it as an abuse on our Constitution, those who are crossing our border illegally. We have laws for a reason, and when they cross illegally, they're shaming my flag and my history of our country. Number two, when they come here illegally, there's no way for us, our laws, to protect them from us, because people are going to abuse them. They're illegal in this country. They're going to be hiding. They're going to be second-class citizens. So when they're coming here illegally, they're taking a risk for their families by hiding. I know the process to become a U.S. citizen is a long process. Maybe that needs to be fixed, but we do have a quota that so many people can become U.S. citizens a year. But the solution is not coming illegally, because you're already giving money to a cartel guy who's going to abuse kids, who is human trafficking, not only just for prostitution, but for selling their organs. It's happening. So it's not that we hate the illegal aliens or the illegal immigrants. There's got to be an organized way of doing it. We're in the 21st century and we still have people coming here illegally? Come on. There's got to be a certain way that we need to talk to all these countries coming from all over, not only Mexico. I never mentioned Mexico. There's Chinese, there's people from Saudi Arabia, the other Arab countries coming into our country. Do we know who they are? We need to know who they are, because they are dangerous. We've had a lot of terrorists come in, and they're in our country right now. So those are the first ones that are going to be deported. And they should.
What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, I agree with you. It is a security issue. But then again, let's face it, they're going about it the wrong way. These laws has been in place for years and years and years. Nothing has been done. We do have a broken immigration policy. Yes, we do. But who's responsible for that? Congress. It doesn't matter Mickey Mouse can be elected president, and nothing's going to change. Donald Trump got elected. They're not going to change because of him. Congress needs to do their job. They are the only ones that make laws. And this broken policy has been there for years and years and years. And so there is someone to blame for. I don't think there's anything missing. I think everybody knows where the solution is.
What is the solution?
Well, it's a very difficult solution to get it accomplished, to get into a good set of laws that will take care of the problem. It's not going to be easy. That's why it has never been done. I mean, this is like the beacon of the world. This is the greatest country in the world. We're up here. Everybody wants to be here, okay? And everybody is coming here. How are we going to do to curb that? Congress needs to do their job. They need to institute the proper laws, and so immigration officers can impose, can follow those laws. But right now, it's broken. People are coming in, and really we're not doing much about it.
What do you think?
When an elected official takes an oath of office, is to our Constitution, is to our citizens first, and that is to protect and defend the Constitution and its people. We have laws on the books right now, immigration laws, that says this is the way you come into our country, and we will gladly process you. What's happening right now is we have countries like Mexico, Central America, the Central American countries, that we give a lot of aid to them. We give a lot of money to those countries so they can get rid of their corruption, which is not helping. Vice President Kamala Harris was placed to find out the root cause of why are all these people coming over here illegally. She never said what it was, but I can tell you what it is. There's corruption in those Central American countries. There's gangs. I mean, it's bad. I attended Inter-American Defense College during my military service, and we did studies on those classes, on those countries. And yes, the corruption is still there, and it's like, as long as we don't work as a hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere, the whole side of this world, needs to come together and say, we have an illegal immigration problem in the U.S., and the other countries need to do their part. And one of the ways to combat that was, if you want to come into this country, start the process at the embassies, at your country. But coming here illegally, it's hurting their families, it's hurting their children, and it's enriching the cartel folks who are there. I mean, it's that bad. So the solution would be enforce the laws that we have now, and like Mr. Hernandez said here, there's got to be a way where Congress cannot kick this can down the road anymore. We can't. Everybody wants to fix it, but yet they get elected and nothing happens. We wait for the next administration.
But as far as the relations of people, I mean, because you two are sitting side by side and you have different political views, how has that been? Just when there is somebody that you know has a different political view from you, do you think that's been, or do you think it's mostly been online fighting? And
I think I have a good answer for that. If you go back prior to the Trump running for office, the times he actually ran for office, we didn't have these issues before. That's hate that you can clearly see now. I think he's the one that brought this hatred by the way he talks in his rallies. You know, he incinerates. He likes to make those present. You know, get infuriated with remarks that really don't have any meaning, like illegal aliens. They're emptying out their jails, and all they're sending us here are their criminals and whatnot. But that, to me, that's insinuating, situations like that. And before that, you look when the Bushes ran, you look when all the other elections before, they were not like this. It's the character of the man, I think, that brought this.
We do have a lot of local debates on Facebook, social media. Some of them get real bad. Some of them are okay, trying to push your issues and convince the other folks. So I think we got more people getting involved in the discussions. Some, like he said, are blue. Some are blue dog Democrats in the middle, conservative. And then you got Republicans like me, conservatives. And then you got the right. Even Hispanics can be real right also as well. So we do have more debates now, more conversations, but in the social media. I believe what's lacking here in my county is candidate forums, debates. We don't have those.
Final question to both of you. As far as community unity, do you see it getting better? When you were talking about just how contentious and nasty it's been online, do you see things getting better here in Starr County?
I think they will. This is something that was there. It just escalated a little bit more because, again, the candidates many times contributed to that. You know, their lingo, the way their argument, the way they presented their arguments on television, in person, and whatnot. I think that's over. I think that it'll die down a little bit, we'll see what happens next election.
Locally, we have to get along. It's like you mentioned, at the end of the day, we're going to go to the grocery store. We have to say hello to each other. We're going to disagree on politics, but that doesn't mean we cannot come and have conversations and drink coffee and have a dinner or lunch. That is the adult thing to do. There's some who are so right, some who are so left. Those you can never get in the table because you will never win. You're going to say, hey, it's going to be a beautiful day. He'll say, well, it's going to be dark soon. You have a lot of negative people out there. How do you get him out? And that's where we have local groups like, let's say, the Rotary Club, the Lions Club. Those belong to a social civic group, so you can have the conversation now and not at the election. But yeah, we have to get along. It's the American way.